One of the most pressing issues facing the world today is climate change. The Earth as we know it is heating up faster than fire ignited with gasoline, thanks to climate change and global warming. Climate change and global warming have been the two major enemies to our not-so-eco-friendly society for some time now. Together, these two enemies have begun to change our Earth in a way we could have never thought possible. The warming of our atmosphere has caused glaciers to swelter and become melted, and is being destroyed by this atrocious problem. Glacier shrinkage is causing life-changing circumstances to all those who stand in harm's way on a global scale. People will be left to die with their homes being washed away, and animals will become extinct, leading the world we know into a tailspin. While living in this sauna we call Earth, people's lives are being shaken up by the floods wiping out their homes, agriculture, and economically killing these villages. Since the global sea levels are rising from the melting of the icebergs, these problems are occurring more regularly and could soon have an impact on the population. According to NASA, Arctic sea ice is now declining at a rate of 13.3% per decade. Many people opposed to climate change would say that ice is not melting at an increasingly alarming rate, but decreasing at a rate of 13.3% per decade is a pretty quick rate of decline. This means that the global sea level rose 17 centimeters in the last century alone. This means the sea level has risen enough to take out entire villages and to wipe out their crop. When the people are stripped of a home, they turn to their agriculture. Villages in these parts reap to sow, whereas the rest of the world sows to reap. Unfortunately, when they go to reap these crops, there is nothing to sell. Since the whole village is in the same predicament, they are in economic turmoil and must now live in poverty. With this newfound poverty, the population will decrease, and the cost comes from the glaciers melting. If it can happen to a village, it can happen to you in your home as well. You could be the next victim of climate change. So as you can see, icebergs melting affect people in more ways than one. The rising sea levels and the melting glaciers are not only affecting people, but animals too. These poor creatures have no idea what is happening in the world around them and must adapt accordingly. These ice sheets have shrunken in the Arctic at a rate of 118 gigatons per year, and the Greenland ice sheets has been losing 278 gigatons per year. That's equal to 1 billion. So that's billions and billions of ice sheets that have melted and are being dumped into the ocean they came from. There are many animals being affected by the melting extra water, but the polar bear's population and their livelihood are in jeopardy. The polar bears live on these sheets, and if the ice recedes at such a high rate of speed, the polar bears will soon be without a habitat. Since their habitat is being destroyed at such a fast rate, these beloved animals could go extinct. Not only are polar bears in too deep, but the coral reefs are not receiving any sunlight because of the rising sea levels. These coral reefs are dying off and killing the ecosystems that depend on them. Fish feed off of the reefs, and when the fish die from lack of food, everything that survives off of these fish will die, and we'll have a food tank catastrophe. People that also import these fish for food will be up a creek. These companies will lose their profit. This chain reaction will cause you to be unable to get freshly frozen fish from the grocery store. Opposers of climate change might argue that these sheets are not melting at all, but NASA's satellite pictures show the ice receding and graph these at the rate at which the melting sheets decline. These hapless animals are living in an ever-changing environment and might not be around in our world much longer. Besides the melting glaciers affecting animals and people, they are affecting our economy and the health of our planet. These villages that are going under are causing countries like Greenland to become economically unstable and to live in poverty. Since the economy of the world is interdependent, this could lead to a chain reaction of economic devastation to the rest of the world. Not only is poverty in the mix, but the health of our world is on the line. The greenhouse gases that are being trapped in the atmosphere are heating up, and Earth are causing these glaciers to melt. Since it is heating at such a high rate of speed, the Arctic will become ice-free. When this happens, everything that depends on the Arctic to survive will become deceased. Animals will become extinct, and habitats will be ruined. The Arctic will become ice-free, and that's not the only place on Earth that will heat up. Some scientists claim that there is no temperature change to support these effects from said temperature that is causing these problems. But people say that these statistics show that the temperature change from 2005 was 0.69 degrees Celsius in 2015. The simple fact that the Earth is in danger and people are living in poverty makes this an issue that cannot be avoided. Nobody wants our world to get fried like a crisp piece of bacon. But the problem cannot be ignored. You cannot choose to ignore animals being deprived of their habitat or humans living in poverty. The ice is already changing our world. The melting glaciers are a global issue that affect every person around us in some way, shape, or form. If you're not careful, this issue will waltz its way right into your neighborhood and right into your daily life. You could be the next victim of climate change.